Hello everyone and welcome to this episode of Ascension Teachings. I'm your host Peter Maxwell Slattery, and again thank you for joining me. We've gone through so much material. There's a lot more teachings and exercises we'll be going into, and they'll be getting more in depth as we go along with the exercises as well. So what I want to start off with today is this slide here, and it's talking about short-lived magnetic portals that have been found connecting the sun and the earth. And what I surmise also is they're actually going to find electromagnetic type tunnels that connect all the stars. So that can or could explain, for example, how you're able to go into the sun with certain types of technology and consciousness and pop out at another star in another system and go and explore. This is pretty interesting stuff that we're finding scientifically at this time. Something I want to go into as well is that we're going through what I think will be an electromagnetic null zone. So I'm thinking this may coincide with this solar flash type scenario, the solar events that I've been speaking about and many other people have been speaking about. And I later found in material from the Keys of Enoch, it speaks about the same thing. Now, there's many different types of portals. There's natural ones, there's artificial ones that have been created, and then there's the biggest portal as well, our consciousness. And so there's many different types with, assisted technologies, and with these portals there are guardian type beings, whether even if they're artificial or not, that are watching in on these and regulating and monitoring what's going on. Even if they can't stop or control them, they're monitoring what's going on for the overall collective. So what I'm going into now is some of the Shiji material even more, and let's look at this. Sometimes the beings you work with experience going into a crystal chamber. You can also experience the crystal chamber physically and energetically. These chambers can teleport you, heal you, or be a medium for you to experience whatever is required for your growth. There are Pleiadian, Sirian, Orion, and many other star nations and Elohim type rock beds that are portals all over the world, galaxy and beyond. They allow you to connect with whatever you have the level of consciousness to access. So there's many different types of portals, and why I'm bringing this up is at the Gosford glyphs that I was speaking about in a previous episode, there are actually two types of rock beds there that I've been to. One of them is a female one that only women can use, and one's a male one that again only men can use. So when you lay down in these beds, when you close your eyes and meditate, you can actually bilocate and experience where that links up to. In this case, these are Pleiadian rock beds, and you can go and experience the Pleiades in astral form. Now, these are assisted technologies, meaning that's what they've been created for. But again, once you reach a certain level of consciousness, you can do this without anyone's help. So there's all this great and wonderful stuff out there. But again, even like with crystals, you're giving them the power. Sometimes they assist and amplify things, but essentially they're not doing the work. They're there to assist you and amplify whatever they've been programmed to do. Now, continuing on from the Shiji material, we'll go into this now. All of the suns and stars are connected. The portals and beings who live on, near, and in them are connected. Regulators monitor the frequencies and activity. Throne beings, guardians, and the many different races are watching and helping these shifts in energy. They are also helping you to help yourself. So going into these portals, it's pretty much connecting up with what I said earlier in terms of, I think in time they're going to find that these stars are all connected everywhere. Also going on from the Shiji material, all of the portals are overlooked by Metatron. Each portal also has ancient beings that work with Metatron along with the guardians, which are connected to the Council of the Whole and under the vibration of the Elohim. In Australia, for example, the ancients at the portal sites who work alongside Metatron and the guardians are Aboriginal masters. So what's being said here is that there are ancient Aboriginal spirits that work with the guardian spirits of that portal and also Metatron. And we're finding this throughout the planet. So we'll go into a bit more of this here now. So some of the Aboriginal masters are so ancient that in addition to working in Australia, they also work at other portals around the world because they were located in other parts of the planets long ago. What that's referencing to is that Aboriginal remains have been found in Africa, India, Japan, even America, predating the natives in those areas. So even the Japanese said that the Aboriginal Australian was there before them. So in America, you have the Native American Indian Masters who work with Metatron and the Guardians because of their connection to certain areas. Ancient Tibetan Masters spirits work with Metatron and the Guardians in China, and ancient Indian Masters work with Metatron and the Guardians in India. So it seems to be a replicating thing depending on what part of the world these portals are in. Now, as I was saying before, the Earth's electromagnetic field is depleting, and here's an article from Forbes magazine corroborating that. NASA claimed the magnetic shield is weakening at 5% a decade. So what percentage is left as of today? So why I'm saying this is the electromagnetic null zone looks like it's coming. Now from the Shiji material, the vibration and geometry are changing the electromagnetic energy in your part of space, solar system and galaxy. The whole vibration of your plane is changing. You can see for yourself that the Earth's magnetic field is weakening. This weakening of the electromagnetic field is a result of a vibrational change. In time, you will come into a more null zone of electromagnetic energy. So that's what Shiji was saying about what's happening at the moment with the electromagnetic null zone and energy very much dipping down at this time. So some also theorise that this is the coming signs of a pole shift. Who knows? And we've already started to see that happen as well, that the poles have been shifting. So here's an article from livescience.com. Sun blamed for warming of Earth and other worlds. Earth is heating up lately, but so are Mars, Pluto and the other worlds in our solar system, leading some scientists to speculate that a change in the sun's activity is a common thread linking all these baking events. Others argue that such claims are misleading and create the false impression that rapid global warming, as Earth is experiencing, is a natural phenomenon. While evidence suggests fluctuations in solar activity can affect climate on Earth, and that it has been done so in the past, the majority of climate scientists and astrophysicists agree that the sun is not to blame for the current and historical sudden uptick in global temperatures on Earth, which seem to be mostly a mess created by our own species. Now, depending on the level of consciousness that you got, depends on what you got access to and what you can figure out. Now, I think this is a mixture. Now, as I've said previously, I don't think that the CO2 emissions with farming and vehicles and things of that nature are helping the situation. But what we are finding is that everything in the solar system is heating up. If it was just Earth, that would be something different where we could go, all right, definitely that's just got to do with us. But we're seeing this as a byproduct, I think, from the sun throughout the whole system, and that's why it's happening, because the sun's reacting to what's happening in the galactic center of our Milky Way galaxy, affecting all the stars. The sun's, meaning our sun in this case, is affecting all the planets. So we're seeing this frequency change happen at this time. So quickly, what I want to go into is an experience I had recently with the ERC, the Elohim Representative Council. Now, just to give you the gist of what happened, was on the 9th of October, sometime in the morning or night, because I woke up in the morning and wrote down what I'm about to tell you, was I had a golden orb appear at the end of my room, and it came at me. It was Penke in his Merkaba light body, which is a being from Orion. It engulfed me. There was like a pulse, and I popped out into this cathedral structured from light. And the Elohim were overlaying myself and many other beings, and there was 33 representatives there. So what was shown through this experience, and there was many other different types of beings there as well. There was the Sisterhood of Light, the Brotherhood of Light, the Lords of Light, different types of beings that were up in the peripheral. But this was like a holographic overlay, the Elohim, and they were in a crystal cave, and there was 12 of them. Now, individually, everyone was having contact and thought transfer, which is telepathy along with imagery, that was focused at them pertaining to their civilization in coming times. What I was seeing that was possible civil wars for America, political upheaval, solar events, and we've seen those recently since this, which were leading into earthquakes, tsunamis, volcanic activity, cyclones, typhoons, hurricanes, you name it, it was happening. And so since then, and there was a lot more than that, but I've written this down, and what we're seeing is since then about half of that has unfolded, including the fires that I spoke of as well, which are very rampant at this time in Australia and California, the state of California in the USA. Why I'm bringing this up also is because if I was full of crap, that's one thing, but what we're seeing is that these events are unfolding, and I was told that these events would be unfolding into April 2020. So I hope that a lot of these things don't happen, and they did show me that if things change with the group collective consciousness, we can rectify and change the timeline, because we're in a place right now where all the timelines have come together and we're in create your own reality phase. So I just wanted to share that with you. And here are some of the slides now for an example showing this. So October 24th from spaceweather.com. Geomagnetic storm warning. A large hole in the sun's atmosphere is facing Earth and spewing a stream of solar wind in our direction. Minor G1 class geomagnetic storms are likely when the gaseous material arrives on October 24th and 25th. Skywatchers around the Arctic Circle can expect to see bright auroras, with a slight chance for auroras in northern tier US states as well. Well, let's go on to the next one. Who are the Kurds and why is Turkey attacking them? So I spoke of these types of events with upheaval and possible the starting of wars. This was short-lived, and who knows if it will come back, but all of this started to unfold pretty quickly. November 1st, California braces as fresh fires ignite across the state. Another thing, deadly typhoon forces Japan to face its vulnerability to increasingly powerful storms. That was October 22nd. I also spoke about possible shooting scenarios, and unfortunately we have seen some of these events take place as well, and it's not to gloat, but it's just to show that some of the information coming through is starting to unfold right now, and this is showing us that we're on the precipice of something as a collective of biblical proportions. Here's another one, November 7th, signs of life from the next solar cycle. The sun is currently in the pits of a century-class solar minimum. However, the quiet won't last forever. This week, a sunspot from the new solar cycle 25 appeared on the sun and unleashed a minor solar flare. These are signs that solar cycle 25 is sputtering to life, heralding in a new solar max in the years ahead. So what we're going to do now is wrap up this episode, but I want to do an exercise before we do so. So I've got something in my right pocket right now, and I want you to guess what it is, and you've got until the next episode to find out what it is. But working it out, I want you to meditate and see what you feel emotionally and on the body. I want you to see what you see in your mind's eye, whether you get any colours or actually see what it is, or get concepts and dimensions. And through thought, observe your thought with what comes through when focusing. So this comes down to intention, and this is an intention exercise. So I want you to set the intention for what's in my pocket, my right pocket, and see what, colours, concepts, ideas, thoughts come through. And we'll leave it there, and I'll reveal what it is that's in my right pocket in the next episode. Thank you very much for watching. I'm Peter Maxwell Slattery, your host of Ascension Teachings, and I'll see you next time.